Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of TJ's Talk Show, and it is, what day is today, Wednesday? Sorry, I had a minor brain fart there, but I know I didn't have a show yesterday. I apologize for some of my more loyal listeners, but we'll get back on track, and today we're going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers. They play tonight against the Sacramento Kings here in Portland, and you know, the Blazers have been on a tough stretch. They have lost 10 out of their last 11. Their last win came on December 13th, and the same equation has beaten the Blazers 10 out of the last 11 times, and that's score and score inside. If you can get the ball in the paint, the Blazers can't stop you, and it's just simple as that. But like I said, tonight they play against the Sacramento Kings. Injury report: Damian Lillard is still out with that ankle injury, which some people say is a bad thing. But if anyone watched the game the other night, they only lost by 4 to the Raptors without Damian Lillard. I think it was George Karl who said maybe it's Damian Lillard that is the problem, since they did look pretty good, and then they only lost by 4, and it was with under 100 points. If you can give up less than 100 points, you're going to be in the game, and that's something the Blazers have struggled with. But I mean, it's tough to say Damian Lillard's a problem. You gave up under 100 points, but I don't think it was completely Damian Lillard absence that was the reason they gave up under 100 points. I just think the players are just fed up with getting their butts kicked night in and night out. So maybe there's a little bit of finally the team is getting angry with the way the game's been being played, and they're trying to, tighten up that defense. We're a few games in to the season right now, and I mean, the Blazers are like 7-8 games under 500 right now. They are 13-20 on the current season. Sacramento is 14-17, so both teams having a little bit of struggling just a little bit, but Portland clearly on a big skid right now. Like I said, losing 10 out of 11. Lillard being out today. Also for the Kings, Aaron Aflalo and Rudy Gay have been ruled out for today's contest, which could benefit the Blazers because Rudy Gay is their wing presence. He is their, perimeter scorer. He's a tough 3 to guard inside and out, so now you really only have to worry about Boogie Cousins, but you also have to remember Boogie torched you for 55 a week and a half ago, so I think it's actually a week, almost to the day. Yesterday would have been the 1 week since they played the Kings in Sacramento. But yeah, Boogie torched you for 55 a week ago, and now you have to face him again. And you have your leading scorer, Damian Lillard, out. So it's really going to put a lot of pressure on this Blazer defense. Right now, the spread, it looks like Sacramento's a 2-point favorite over the Blazers. I want to say a lot of that is just because of the big skid the Blazers are on. The over-under's 207. I would bet over. The Blazers statistically give up a ton of points, so you would want to take that. And just based on here, I'll go through some team stats here shortly. The Blazers score 108 points a game. The Kings score 102 points a game. So right there, we're already over the 207. But the biggest thing is the points against. The Blazers allow 112 points a game. So, they're already losing by 4 just on averages every night. And it's clearly showing. The Kings give up 104 points a game, so they're outscored by 2 points, which is why they're a lot closer to 500 than the Blazers, especially after this recent stretch. The Blazers have lost 6 in a row. The Kings are on a 4-game winning streak, so this game has a lot of implications for both teams. The Kings came off a 2-point win against the Sixers on Monday, and like I mentioned, the Blazers lost by 4 on Monday, and they lost the previous game, the 23rd, to the Spurs by 20, and the Kings won last week 109-105 over Minnesota. So Sacramento's wins aren't clean. They're not pretty. Let's see. They won by 5 against Portland, 1 at Utah, 4 at Minnesota, and 2 against Philly. So right there, I mean, you're not winning by a whole lot. Those are all really close games. And then if you look at Portland, their last 5 games, 135-90 loss at Golden State. That is really bad. Then they lost to Sacramento, 126-121. Then they lost a nail-biter to Dallas, 96-95. Then they lost by 20 to San Antonio, 110-90. And then Monday they lost by 4. So, Portland's not playing all that well. They give up a lot of points. So that is something you definitely have to be on the lookout for. I would assume, just based on what happened on Monday for the Blazers, C.J. McCollum would get the start at point. Crabbe would get the starting nod. At the 2 guard, Al-Farouq Aminu and Mo Harkless would be the 2 forwards. And then Mason Plumlee would be the center of choice. But you're going to need more production out of your other guys. Just going into the box score on Monday, since that was their first real game without Lillard, Allen Crabbe shot 3 for 11 for 7 points. You need a bigger production out of a guy you threw a ton of money at this offseason to keep him in Portland. And also Al-Farouq Aminu, I know, has been on and off the court quite a bit this season with these injuries, but he added 8 points and 8 rebounds. It's just, you can't have that low production for some of these big guys that are trying to solidify their spot in the rotation. Plumlee had a good game, 13 points, 15 rebounds. C.J. McCollum did what he could, 29 points. But the biggest thing, even though I'm not a huge fan of Myers Leonard, you can't go 0 for 1 in your 8 minutes on the court. He got 1 rebound and he recorded a foul in his 8 minutes on the court on Monday. You need to do something. You got to get more than 1 rebound. You can't get a foul in 8 minutes and not do anything else. You have to either demand the ball. Portland needs to move the ball more. Myers Leonard's a stretch 4, so you would think he can draw out anybody that the Kings have at their 4 position. And I believe it's hard to even imagine who is their starting 4. I'm not too familiar, so let's go into that box score real quick. Costa Koufos started as your center, and DeMarcus was your 4. So you're going to have DeMarcus Cousins guarding Myers Leonard out on the perimeter. You have to exploit that. You can't let Boogie play post defense, or even Costa Koufos. Those guys, that's what they do. They're big bodies that are meant to bang down low. Myers Leonard can't do that. He's not strong enough. He doesn't know how to use his body well enough to the likes of a DeMarcus or even a Costa Koufos. So he needs to stretch the floor. I would give him the nod tonight, to be honest. I would try to outrun the Sacramento Kings, especially with a big guy like Boogie Cousins. Have him trail Myers Leonard. I would have Myers Leonard coming off screens, I'd almost turn him into my 3 and just run around without the ball, set screens for him, get Boogie moving. You have to tire that big man out. Otherwise, he's going to torch you for 50 again, because Myers Leonard won't be able to guard him on the defensive end, at least when he's, rested. So run him around. And then, you know what? If they switch and put Costa Koufos on him, still run him. Costa Koufos can't cover Myers Leonard. Or you go really small and you put Harkless at the 4, but then you give up a lot of size on the defensive end. At least Leonard's 7 feet tall. He might get bullied around down there, but he's going to give you a little shot. He's going to give a decent chance of blocking the shot, challenging the shot. He's 7 feet tall, so he's already got an inch or two on DeMarcus. Harkless is shorter than Cousins, so you're giving up a lot of size and height that you can't afford, especially when the last time you faced these guys, he torched you for 55. You have to go at him. I would move him around as much as possible and maybe even do the pick and roll and force Boogie to either stay on Leonard, which he won't be able to do, or even Harkless won't be able to do, or then they switch and then you have him with C.J. McCollum, who can do whatever he wants with Boogie guarding him. And, you know, that they have to exploit him. They have to tire him out. They have to do something. Otherwise, Boogie Cousins is going to go off for another 50-point game, especially with Rudy Gay being out and Aaron Aflalo. So there goes his two wing guys that he would pass it to in case of a double. But he's so nifty, so nimble down low, and he always knows where the basket is. And he's just going to torch you either way. He's got a decent jump shot. He's really good around the rim. He can finish in just about any contact situation you could think of. So, you know, you're going to have to throw a lot of different looks at him. Maybe one time you throw, you know, Mason Plumlee on him to try to bang with him down low and try to tire him out that way. Plumlee's your best interior defender, so you throw him on there on Boogie and you just say, you know what, I know he's going to score, but just tire him out. Don't give up any easy shots to Boogie. You make him work. You push against him. If you're going to foul hard. Otherwise, there's a good possibility he's going to make the end one. And you have to make things tough for Boogie. He is basically by himself tonight. So you need to make him the guy. You need to make him work for every point, every inch, every rebound. You have to tire him out. And, you know, CJ will be guarding Darren Collison, who, I mean, he isn't anything special. 4 assists. He leads the team in 4 assists, and he averages almost 2 turnovers a game. So he's not going to turn the ball over, but he's not going to create shots for other guys. He's more of a scoring type point guard. So, you know, CJ, you put him on an island. He's averaging 12 points as Collison. So put him on an island, or maybe a Crab, you know, try to get someone who can not let him bully you around down low, and you just try to make a Darren Collison beat you by himself. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night for Portland. Like I said, who give up 114 points a game, or 111 points a game. That just can't happen. You can't do that and expect to win games. Excuse me. So Terry Stotts needs to change something. He needs to figure it out some way or another. Change up the lineup. Do something. Right now, the only guy that's worth starting on a consistent basis is CJ and Plumlee. Those two guys give you everything they got night in and night out. McCollum does a great job of taking the second fiddle to Dame when he's on the court. But you need more out of McCollum. I know he went for like 36 points against Sacramento. You might need him to match Boogie point for point tonight if you want to even make it a competitive game. Because without Lillard at least earning the respect of the Kings defense, they're going to just put everyone on McCollum and make him work. You're gonna need guys like Aminu, Harkless, Crab, all to be in the 15-point range to take a little bit of stress off of McCollum, who's going to be busy running around chasing Collison, trying to play defense first, even though he's a scoring guard. And you need to tire Boogie out. If you can tire Boogie out, I think the Blazers will come out with the win tonight. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. I do plan on catching this game, but like I said, Kings are a 2-point favorite tonight so far as it stands. That game tips off at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Tomorrow I'm going to go in a little bit more about the college playoff that happens on Friday with the Washington Huskies playing the Alabama Crimson Tide. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. So tomorrow I'll go into a quick recap of the Blazer game and talk about the Huskies' playoff chances and where I see them going in these college football playoffs. Follow me on Twitter at TJ's Talkshow, and you can tweet me questions you might have, so talk about the next day. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.